to read today, Pilate, who has the authority over the people to decide and to take a judgment, he comes to ask one man that they handed him over to adjudicate his case, as they were claiming that this man has postulated that he is the king of Jews. And before he went on, in order to take judgment against this man, he has to ask him, really, are you the king of Jews? And that is where we continued in the gospel reading today, where Jesus was asked, are you the king of Jews? He wanted to dodge that question, but he went on to answer later. But before he answered, in verse 35, he made it very clear that, oh, even if you are referring to me as king, know you that the king I am is a king that has a kingdom that is not the usual kingdom you know. If my kingdom is of this world, that my servant could have even risen against me to fight and make sure that you do not rebel against me. And then Jesus went on now to tell him, even as that is the fact, that my kingdom is not of this world, that for this I was born. Verse 36 of John chapter 18, forming parts and parcel of our gospel reading today. And Jesus went on to say, yet of course, I was born to be a king. A king is born and not made. And as I was born, actually in totality, I am the king. You may not be seeing me as the king. The people may be rebelling against my kingdom because my kingdom or my kingship is not the usual kingship. And that takes us to the first reading today. Our brother Daniel, in his prophecy, saw a vision as it was taken from chapter 7 of the kingdom. And you know that Daniel is familiar with kingdom. You remember that he was raised in the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar with other three young boys. And then also, we come to know that he has been fighting against many kingdoms. Yes, just like Jeremiah 1:10 that says that we have been set against the kingdom. There is kingdom, there are kingdoms. And for Jesus to say, my kingdom is not of this world. The kingdom of Jesus is not the normal kingdom that Pilate has in mind. It is not the normal kingdom that people who were accusing him had in mind. If they really understood that kingdom, they could not have been accusing him. They could not have taken him to court of Pilate. And that is why the first reading clears the earth for us today. We come to know, according to prophecy of Daniel, he saw a vision. And then in that vision, he was able to see a king reigning on the throne. It's not the usual king that surrounded the town. It's not the kings like Nebuchadnezzar that are full of lords. This time around, he also knew that the king is not just like Nebuchadnezzar or the other king that have widened their power, that has actually been very autonomous and dictatorial. And then this time around, he comes to see that yes, this king has a kingdom that can never be destroyed. You remember in Daniel 5:22, due to the excesses of Nebuchadnezzar, God gave Daniel the vision, and then he received the power and commanded the Nebuchadnezzar, you have been taking it this time around, that you will enter into the forest and you will turn like an animal. So from the vision he saw now in Daniel chapter 7, he knows there are kings, so but there is king. There are kingdoms, so but there is kingdom. This vision he's seeing is no longer the kind of the kingdom he saw existing in his own time, during the time of Nebuchadnezzar. That even the king he saw in that kingdom is a king he can actually command, is a king he can impose punishment upon. And that is why he struck Nebuchadnezzar with his order, and Nebuchadnezzar entered into forest, and he was eating what? Feeding on grass. And then also we remember, mene tekel and passing, that your kingdom has been divided, and it has been found one thing, and it has been given to Medes and Persians. This time around, these things happened in chapter 5, and you know what he passed through. You remember that he was thrown into the den of lion, but also that is the command of the king. But it's not this king that he's seeing now. It is the other king that people thought that has every power. And also his friends, his friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. In Daniel 3 also, you remember that the king condemned them and threw them into fire. So this time, all these things are past. He has seen actually there are kings he has mingled with, but these kings have their limitations. As humans, they are. And that's where he saw this vision. And he concluded it can be the one who sits on the throne. Because the king he was seeing is a king that has a dynasty that lasts forever. And then according to the prophecy we had, Daniel chapter 7 verse 14, part of our first reading, not just that the dynasty lasts forever. Dynasty means the lineage. And some version of the Bible will say his dominion lasts forever. And you can see the difference. The Nebuchadnezzar and the sons of Nebuchadnezzar that came after him, they have an expiry date. Just like Igbo people that we come and say, when they saw that the king can die like